Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. This is a great crowd. Really great to see you all. Just for starters, if you were to imagine yourself on a continuum from the activist, action-oriented sort of side to the spiritual, more inward-oriented side, how many people would lean themselves towards the action side, the activist side? Okay, and how many people would lean themselves more towards the spiritual side? And how many people are in the middle somewhere? Of course, we're all both. You know, we're all constantly moving between doing and being. And this workshop is going to be looking at how we can tap into our own fierce light, our own inner fierceness, and our own inner light, and bring those two sides, the doing and the being, the head and the heart together. We're in a world of increasing crisis. There's no doubt about it, and yet the news is, you know, they say if it bleeds, it leads, and the news constantly reinforces the negativity that's going on in the world. And rarely do we actually get to celebrate the positivity that's going on. So I think we need to allow ourselves to do that. And as people that care, I think it's worth recognizing that the universe isn't asking us to be unhappy. It doesn't actually help the planet for us to be unhappy. And you know, as Noah Levine said in the film last night, you know, we can hold these two truths, and at the same time, we can say tens of thousands of people died today because of human ignorance and greed, and this is a beautiful day. You know, and the birds are singing. And we can hold both of those. And it doesn't mean that we're somehow not compassionate in our ability to actually be happy. So I think that's really an important lesson to understand when we create change and when we're faced with a planet that is, you know, going into increasingly difficult times. I think it's an also tremendous, exciting time to be alive, because we're at a time of the most incredible change that's happened in history. Really, it is, you know. And there's those two graphs that I was talking about last night. You know, the graph of incredible positive change, and the graph of the forces of what Matthew Fox calls necrophilia, or the forces of death or contraction, and the forces of biophilia, or life and expansion. And both of those forces are kind of building steam, accelerating in an exponential way. And so we have an opportunity right now to get out our surfboards and surf on that wave of positive change. And that's really an exciting opportunity, because nothing calls us to our highest selves like times of crisis. And nothing can also cause us to contract greater than times of crisis. So, you know, we need to constantly do that dance, you know, and look at where are we contracting, and where are we able to stay open and stay expansive. And I think Julia said that so beautifully in the film, where she was, you know, and after we had all gone through that enormous pain of watching the devastation of the farm, and Julia, you know, was bringing us to her own story of being in Luna, you know, in the midst of that struggle to save the tree, and when her friend David Gypsy Chain was killed by a logger who felled a tree on him. And that moment of pain that she still lives with, that, you know, whenever she brings him back, she'll instantly be in tears, because it was such a tragic event in her life. And yet she is able to face that pain and face her own pain, and yet somehow still keep her heart open, and realize that there's a power in being able to keep your heart open even in the face of immense pain. And I know that in my own life, I've often had a tendency, you know, and nothing does it for me like relationship issues, in which, you know, it's like really painful, and the first thing I want to do is just shut down or run away, you know, and that actually does no good at all to myself or the situation. Shutting down is protective, you know, and people in extreme traumas often do kind of numb out or shut down. And the extreme situations, people actually fragment themselves into, you know, we have multiple personality disorders that emerge in the face of trauma. So those can be protective devices, but what they do is they actually prevent you from experiencing life, from connecting with others, from connecting with the beauty of the planet. So, and the human being, the reason we're here on this planet, more than anything, and Thomas Berry has a beautiful quote. He says, the human is that being in whom the universe reflects on and celebrates itself and its numinous origins. And that's like its spiritual origins or its numinous origins in a special mode of conscious self-awareness. So the role of the human is to celebrate. We are the eyes of God in a way. We are the eyes of the universe. That's the most radical shift in consciousness that's happened, in the last few thousand years, is our ability to actually know that we know. And we're the only species that can actually do that. We're the only species that can be the self-awareness of the universe on this planet. There may be other planets where that's possible, but on this planet, we're that species. That doesn't make us better than the other species, because in fact, we're part of the whole. So that's an important distinction, because we can fall into a sense of hubris or arrogance with that wisdom, and that is not what the universe is asking us to do. The universe is asking us to truly, when you truly can step into that place, there's nowhere else to go but into a sense of radical amazement, awe and wonder and radical amazement. Because truly it's just such a miracle to be alive at all, and to be conscious of that, incredible grandeur and beauty of the universe is just a great, enormous gift.